this is going over the quadratic formula and using this to solve equations or solve quadratics really. Now, so you know the quadratic equations look like this. So it's ax squared plus bx plus c. And the formula, quadratic formula is like this. So x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You need to know this. It's not given to you in the exams. And you can show this to make that. I'm not going to go over that right here, but I'm just letting you know that can be shown to equal that. Now, what I'm going to do is show you an example of how to use it and when to use it. So really, you use it either when the question says solve it to a certain number of decimal places. That means your answer is probably going to have loads of decimals. Or you use it when you've tried to factorize and you just can't find any factors and it's taking too long. All right, so applying it, first thing you do, you want to make sure you have it in the form that I said, your equation in the form. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So first thing. Second thing, you want to then, to make your life easier, identify your a, b and c. So for this one here, this x squared plus 2x minus 4, a, well, in front of the x it's going to be a 1. My b is going to be 2 and my c is minus 4. Once you've got that, you want to substitute into the quadratic formula. Okay, so you want to write out that formula, so that minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, okay, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, write that out. Okay, and then substitute in the values. So let's rewrite that here. So we've got minus 2 plus minus b squared, which is 2 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is minus 4. So you got that all over 2a. So that's 2 times 1. Being silly there, I start with minus b, should be minus 2. All right, and then my advice here, when you're solving it, you can use a calculator, but do it by this part here first. Do the square root first, sort that out. So I'm just going to put this in here. I got 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 4, so it gives me 20 if I do that. So that means I know this square root part is 20, it's root 20, so I'm going to write it out, minus 2 plus or minus root 20 all over 2. Okay, now you want to get, once you've started substituting, you want to solve it for positive and a negative. So that's the plus and minus. So you'll do it one way. So I'll do it in green for the positive side. So that'll be minus 2 plus root 20 over 2. So you put that in your calculator, minus 2 plus square root 20. You can do it by hitting equals and then divide it all by 2. And for that, I get 1.2, it's a long decimal, but 1 decimal point is what they asked for, 1.2. And then if you go for the negative side, so you can write this in your calculator in one go, so I'll try that, minus 2. So what we're doing here is a negative now. So it's minus 2 minus root 20 over 2. And that would be minus 2 minus root 20 all over 2, like that, in the calculator. And I got here minus 3, it's a long decimal, but it says 1 decimal place, 3.2. All right, and then that will be solved to one decimal place. All right, what I've got here actually is two more. Give it a go using the formula, and then I'll go over those answers in a moment. All right, first one here, you've got x cubed, 3x squared, minus 10x plus 4 is 0, and it's to one decimal place. So identify A, B, and C. So A is 3, B is minus 10, C is 4. Okay, write out that formula ready to go. Keep writing it down because you will need to remember it. Okay, all over 2a. All right, so now what you're going to do, you're going to start putting in those values. So minus 10 into here, so that becomes minus, so it's actually technically a positive 10 now. So you've got positive 10 plus or minus 10 squared. Good to put the brackets in as well, good practice. Minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is 4, all over 2 times a, which is going to be 6. Just write that in as 6. Okay, then what you can do, like I said, do that square root part first. So 10 or minus 10 squared, same as 10 squared, minus 4 times 3 times 4 gives us 52 in the square root there. So we know we got 10 plus or minus root 52 over 6. Now we want to get a positive answer. Okay, well, where this is positive, that is, and where it's negative. So you need two answers. So if you're smart, you can put this in your calculator once. So you press the fraction button and then start. So we've got 10 plus square root 52 all over 6. So you press equals. Okay, and I get an answer. So it wants one decimal place in this question. So for the positive, it's 2.68, so 86, so 2.9. And then for the negative, you can just use the arrows, go back, hit equals, and you get your solution there. So to one decimal place, 0.4, sorry, one decimal place, not 2, gone mad there, be 0.5. Okay, that was that one there. And then final one here, using that quadratic formula, it wants two decimal places. Difference is it's not in that form that we've said about that ax squared plus bx plus c. So you just got to move that 40 over there so it's equaling 0. So it becomes 2x squared minus 9x minus 40 is 0. Identify A, B, C. A is 2, B is minus 9, C is minus 40. Okay, let's get that formula ready. So you've got minus B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Okay, substitute some values in now. So in front we've got minus 9, so it's minus 9, so that becomes, well, 9 because double negative. So plus minus B, well, minus 9 squared, which is the same as 9 squared, remember, minus 4 times 2 times minus 40, okay, all over 2 times A, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. So let's do that square root part first. So I got 9 squared, or minus 9 squared, minus 4 times 2 times minus 40, it gives you 401, if I've done that correct, all over 4. So move it a little bit. So we want two solutions, +1 and our -1. So remember I said you could put this in your calculator at once. So start with the fraction button. 9 plus square root 401 all over 4. Hit equals, and I get 7.256, so on, but I want 2 decimal places, so it becomes 7.26, sorry, losing my words then. And then the -1, let's see if I can say this right the first time. So 9 minus square root 401 over 4. And that becomes minus 2.76 to 2 decimal places. Okay, and that there is using the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations.